Right now, there is a good chance you are sitting in a chair. Maybe on a sofa, maybe on a bed, maybe in a car seat, maybe in an office chair with your back supported and your legs doing almost nothing. Now imagine someone takes that chair away. No sofa, no bed, no bench, no office seat, no dining chair, no car seat, just the ground. Now ask yourself something strange. Could your body still rest? Not for 10 seconds, not for a quick stretch, but for an hour. Could you squat, kneel, crouch, sit on the ground, shift your weight, and actually feel comfortable? For most modern people, the answer is no. The knees start complaining, the ankles feel locked, the back gets stiff, the legs go numb, and suddenly, the ground feels like a punishment. But for most of human history, the ground was not punishment. It was normal. Ancient humans had tired legs, long walks, cold nights, heavy work, children to carry, tools to fix, fires to watch. But they did not have chairs. So how did they rest? The answer is not just that they sat on the ground. The real answer is stranger. Ancient humans did not rest less than us. They rested differently. Picture an ancient human at the edge of a small camp. The sun is going down. The group has been walking for hours. Someone is carrying wood. Someone is cleaning a stone tool. Someone is watching a child. Someone is keeping the fire alive. The body is tired, but there is no chair waiting, no bench, no furniture, no object called a seat. So the person simply lowers their body, maybe into a squat, maybe onto one knee, maybe cross-legged, maybe with one knee raised, maybe leaning against a tree. Maybe sitting on a flat stone. Maybe lying on grass, leaves, or animal skin. This was not strange. This was just life. The ancient body knew the ground the way your body knows a chair. The ground was where people cooked, where they worked, where they repaired tools, where children played, where stories were told, where fires burned, where bodies slept. Ancient humans were not visitors to the ground. They belonged to it. A lot of people imagine ancient humans as if they were moving all day, always hunting, always running, always escaping predators, always in survival mode. But that picture is incomplete. Ancient humans rested. They had to. A body that never rests does not survive. A hunter who wastes energy fails. A gatherer who overheats collapses. A tired group makes mistakes. So rest was not laziness. Rest was strategy. But their rest did not look like modern rest. They were not sinking into soft furniture for hours. They were not locked into one supported position. They were not disappearing into a couch. Their rest was low, active, alert. A person could be resting and still watching the horizon, resting and still holding a tool, resting and still listening for movement, resting and still tending fire, resting and still talking to the group. The body paused. But the world did not disappear. Here is the important part. The problem may not be that modern humans rest too much. The problem may be how we rest. In some hunter-gatherer groups studied today, people can spend many hours in inactive positions, but they do not always rest like modern office workers. They squat, they kneel, they sit on the ground, they shift their bodies. They rest without furniture doing all the work. That changes everything. A chair is designed to remove effort. It holds your weight. It supports your back. It lets your legs switch off. It makes stillness easy. That feels comfortable. But ancient rest did not fully switch the body off. A squat still asks something from your ankles. Kneeling still asks something from your hips. Ground sitting makes you shift. Crouching keeps you ready to stand. This was not exercise. It was not a workout. It was a quiet hum of movement inside stillness. The body was resting, but it was still alive in the position. One of the most important ancient resting positions was the deep squat. Today, many people treat squatting like an exercise, something you do in a gym, something you count, something you train. But for ancient humans, a squat was not exercise. It was a human chair. You could squat near the fire. Squat while cutting meat, squat while shaping a tool, squat while watching children, squat while waiting, squat while eating, squat while talking, squat while scanning the dark beyond the camp. It kept the body low. It kept the feet under the body. It kept the hands close to the ground. And most importantly, it allowed a person to stand quickly. That mattered, because lying down is full rest. But lying down also makes you vulnerable. In a world with predators, insects, snakes, rival groups, smoke, fire, weather, and children running around, you could not always fully shut down. The squat gave rest without total surrender. It said, I am tired, but I am still ready. Now comes the strange question. If ground resting is so natural, why does it feel so hard now? The answer is simple. The body adapts to what you do every day. A small child can often squat easily. Watch a child playing with something on the floor. They drop into a deep squat without thinking. No stretching routine, no gym coach, no mobility app. They just fold down and stay there. But then modern life trains the body differently. School chairs, dining chairs, sofas, car seats, office seats, beds, toilets, waiting room chairs, one sitting shape, repeated for years. The ankles stop needing deep movement. The hips stop opening fully. The back forgets how to balance without support. The knees stop folding comfortably. The floor becomes unfamiliar. And one day, the body that once belonged to the ground feels like a stranger there. You were not born needing a chair for every moment of rest. You were trained into it. If ancient humans had no chairs, what was the closest thing to a living room? The fire. The fire was where tired bodies gathered, not on sofas, not around a dining table, but low to the ground. Some people squatting, some kneeling, some sitting on hides, some repairing tools, some cooking, some watching the dark, some telling stories. Around the fire, rest became social. People shared food, children copied adults, elders passed on warnings. Stories became memory, fear became smaller. The group became real. Modern rest is often private. One person, one chair, one phone, one screen. But ancient rest was often shared. The fire was their living room, and nobody needed a chair to belong there. Today, a chair feels ordinary, but for much of history, raised seats were not ordinary for everyone. A special seat often meant status. A throne was not just a chair, it was power made visible. The important person sat above others, the ruler, the judge, the elder, the sacred figure. Everyone else was closer to the ground. That tells us something important. The chair did not begin as the universal human resting object. For a long time, ordinary bodies rested low, on mats, on floors, on stools, on earth, near work, near fire, near food, near family. Then modern life changed the default. Homes filled with chairs. Schools trained children into chairs. Offices trapped adults in chairs. Cars carried bodies in chairs. Screens made people stay in chairs. And very quickly, humans began to think the ground was strange. So did chairs ruin humans? Not exactly. Chairs are useful. They help people work. They help injured people rest. They help older people sit and stand more easily. They make writing, driving, sewing, studying, typing, and eating at tables easier. The problem is not that chairs exist. The problem is that chairs became almost the only way we rest. We did not add chairs to a long list of resting positions. We let chairs replace the list. Squatting disappeared. Kneeling disappeared. Ground sitting disappeared. Crouching disappeared. Low resting disappeared. Changing position disappeared. Ancient humans had many ways to pause. Modern humans mostly have one. Sit down, lean back, stay there. But the human body was not designed for only one shape. It was built for variety, for shifting, for folding, for standing, for lowering, for rising again. Ancient humans did not need a fitness routine to keep those abilities. Their daily life kept them alive. So how did ancient humans rest without chairs? They did not need one perfect object to hold them. They had the ground, the fire, the group, and a body that still knew how to fold, shift, squat, kneel, and rise again. Modern humans often rest by escaping the world. Ancient humans rested while staying inside it, low to the ground, close to the fire, close to the people who kept them alive. And maybe that is what we lost. Not just the ability to squat, not just comfort on the ground, but the feeling that rest did not need furniture. For most of human history, no chair was waiting, because the human body itself was the chair.